everyone. Welcome back. My name is Dr. Beth Brooks, and I'm a clinical advisor here at Vivian Health. And today I want to talk about signaling theory and nurse recruitment. And I suppose signaling theory, you're thinking, oh, what's that? But it's a really interesting concept and theory that's been around for many years that helps us understand more clearly the signals that a recruiter sends during the interview process, how that impacts the applicant's attraction to the firm or to your organization. So that's today's topic. I want to talk about signaling theory and nurse recruitment. So we'll start with the science or the theory about signaling theory. It's been around since the 70s. It's not anything new, but what we do know is that when there are two people that come together and there's a difference in the kind of information they have or the amount of information, what often happens is the person who is seeking information will make assumptions and make has intuition about that organization or about the information just based on the signals that the recruiter might send. So we talk about signaling theory as something where there's this difference between who has more knowledge or more information. And so the behavior that you have as the recruiter, especially this happens with job candidates that don't have a lot of experience, they will automatically assume that every kind of behavior or reaction that the recruiter makes is signaling something. And that can be, right, they could misinterpret it, certainly, but that just goes to say how important it is to be really mindful of the behavior and the action of your recruiter and how your recruiters portray themselves in an interview. So to summarize there, the what's called unobservable information is signaled to the candidate. So if I'm a friendly, warm recruiter, oh, this must be a friendly, warm place to work. So that's, in a nutshell, how signaling theory works. And the reason it's so important is because recruiters are sending signals all the time during the application and interview process. So the question is, are there the right signals to send? And the answer is absolutely. And one of the things that's really important and actually will impact whether or not a candidate chooses your organization is how much that recruiter, do they feel or are they perceived to be competent? So one of the most important things you can think about is, do your recruiters, is the process of how your recruitment unfolds? Does the recruiter ask questions of the candidate? Does the recruiter willingly answer candidates' questions? Is the recruiter someone that they feel can make, that sends some trustworthiness? And if this process is very consistent, and if the process is very smooth running, let's say, that then says, oh, this recruiter is competent, this whole organization is competent. I would like to work in this organization because it's secure and it's reliable, and I can see this consistent competence in this recruiter. So that's the first piece that we know a lot about, making sure that your recruiters are absolutely very competent, certainly in the function of recruitment, but do they also have the knowledge they need to have to answer the questions that the candidate has? And before we end today, I'll tell you a little more about my bias. I used to be a nurse recruiter, so this is something that I feel really strongly about, that, having the nurse as the nurse recruiter can make a difference in how attractive your organization appears to a job candidate. So once we talk about competence, the second area is personableness. How personable is your recruiter? Are they thoughtful? Are they friendly? Are they show respect to the candidate? Are they warm? Do they, have the appropriate small talk at the beginning of an interview? Are they trustworthy? Do they have empathy? Maintaining eye contact, smiling, nodding, all those sort of nonverbal behaviors. We want to make sure that those happen during an interview because they do send signals, again, to the candidate about your organization. And so those are especially on the personableness feature, if you will, or attribute of a nurse recruiter or any recruiter. Candidates think, oh, this is a organization is very supportive. This is a caring place to work. Everyone was so friendly and so nice during the interview process. All of those behaviors translate and send signals about the entire organization. So that being said, how do you ensure that your recruiters convey competence and convey personableness? Well, the question is, how do you train your recruiters, and what is the process you use? Do you have structured interviews? Do you have a format with structured questions? Some candidates, some of the research will show that wanting to individualize an interview versus sticking to the structure of a screening questions or the structure of your interview questions, you sort of have to balance that. Sort of the best of both worlds, right? If you have a very structured process, but yet there's this personableness that comes through from the candidate and from your recruiter, that's the best of both worlds. We have a recruiter that is friendly and personable, takes questions, responds in a timely fashion. And then we have a recruiter that's very competent, knows the organization, and knows how to smoothly take a candidate through the process. So again, ask yourself how you're training your recruiters. Are they sending the right signals? Are they competent in such a way that it engenders confidence in your organization with your candidate? So I want to thank you today for joining me again.